LASK 1, Liverpool 3. It's a European special. We're in the Hope of Queen Street, a beautiful new pub. I'm here with George Trout, with Josh Sexton. What an evening. I had a steak pie at half-time, and everything changed. Things were looking bleak. The steak pie came in.
Yep.
Everything was sorted.
You just got a crusted process, haven't you, mate? That's what it is.
So early. So early.
By the way, we're not in the Hope of Queen Street, we're in the Queen of Hope Street.
But what we should always do is just pronounce the gaffs that Gutman has wrong, like Metrocola, Metrocola.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, welcome to the Hope of Queen Street.
I'd like to say that was intentional. I'm not aware of it. I'm obviously been bowled away by the Reds' second half performance.
Absolutely, yeah.
We were saying a minute ago, it was so exciting to see such an experimental, such a young team.
Yep.
And then sometimes when you pick an experimental young team, things don't go exactly according to plan.
Yeah, you get an experimental young performance, and I think we struggled a bit in the first half in certain areas of the pitch. I think on the right-hand side was particularly weak. I think the combination between Doak and Elliott didn't really work, although Elliott certainly grew into the game and had a really good second half. I think, you know, we started a bit as shrinking violets, and then in the end we found our purple patch, didn't we? That's what you want to do. That's the type of gear that you pay your £7 a month for.
That was lovely.
People are getting this for free. I tell you what, packing it all into the first 5 minutes here. I mean, the first half, it wasn't at times, you know, anything like a Liverpool team that we're used to seeing. You know, there's debuts for Gravenberch, a full debut for Doak. There's players back from injury, players coming in for the first time this season, Tsimikas. And it was no surprise to me that some of them looked rusty. Some of our play I thought was quite encouraging. And if you are going to concede a goal, it might as well be a screamer.
Yeah, it's always a strange one, I think. Whenever we do make the 11 changes, you're almost always surprised that it looks like 11 lads who've never played together before. But it's sort of, you know, natural to that process, isn't it? And that as you say, there's a load of debuts there. There's Endo having his first sort of European start as well. He still looks like he's catching up to the pace a bit for me. And I'm not willing to sort of, you know, make a sweeping judgment on him that early. But there was a few times in that first half in particular where, you know, there was a couple of them getting caught out. It's probably not fair to sort of single him out, but a few times they were able to just get through the midfield a little bit too easily. And they're the ones where you sort of think, you know, is there any long-term impact of the way he's looking at the moment? You hope not. You hope that he just sort of settles eventually. But no, you don't sort of look at anything from that first half really and take anything long-term, because you look at the performance second half, the way they turn it around even before they make the subs, but then once the cavalry come on as well, it's just curtains by that point, isn't it?
Yeah, it really was. I mean, yeah, some of the things were breaking down. We were getting into good positions, and the final ball wasn't quite right.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of what Ben Doak did was really encouraging. The first time he hit the byline and cut one back, you could see the fear in their eyes. Obviously, he does it a second time, but sometimes it wasn't quite anticipated, maybe, you know. You sometimes thought if only we just could have gambled on that ball. I did think Tsimikas struggled, you know, massively in the first half. He looked like a player to me who hasn't played a lot of football. He has his deficiencies, but I felt they were really, you know, that was the worst version of him I think we saw in the first half.
This sort of might be the sort of, I guess, the beauty and the ugly side of the Europa League this season, is that we're going to see a lot of lads coming in and getting game time who won't have been playing a lot of football. You know, we're almost sort of blessed that we have this really strong Liverpool 11 that we trust now, and a bench that we can trust to come on in big moments. But, you know, it's great Liverpool have a second 11, but when the second 11 come in, you are just going to get games like that tonight where it does just all look a little bit disjointed, where there are players who look like they've not played for a while, and it's why you want the Europa League, because you want those players to be able to sort of get into that rhythm rather than them going 3 months, 4 months without a start and then getting thrown in any big moment. The Europa League will be perfect for that, because, you know, imagine, God forbid, touch wood, and Andy Robertson injury comes down the line. If you have to throw Tsimikas in and he puts in a performance like he did in that first half tonight against, you know, a City away or something, as I say, God forbid, that's where you would worry. But the more sort of rhythm he builds up, and I should include Endo in that as well. It might sound harsh. I was sort of criticising or singling him out for criticism before, but the more that these players build up this rhythm, the more it can only be good for Liverpool in the competitions and months to come.
And I think a bit of rustiness is to be expected as well. You know, we saw
yeah.
Endo have a bit of a rusty game, but I thought he'd retained the ball really well. I thought, if anyone, I think you can give Tsimikas the most the most leeway when it comes to being rusty, because he hasn't played much football at all. But then if you think about it in past seasons, I mean, particularly in the season where we pushed for the quadruple, you know, the likes of Takumi Minamino, you know, he made these cups his bread and butter. He was the guy who was the go-to guy when it came to needing a goal, and it became the making of him, and he attained legendary status because of his performances in this type of competition. And I know it's not the Champions League, and it might be the case that these players are laying the groundwork now for what's going to come in later competitions and in the big moments when we need them. So I'm not worried at all.
No, and I do think you need to apply a bit of context. I mean, for LASK, tonight is their Champions League final.
Yeah,
you saw the excitement when they drew Liverpool. You know what it means to them.
LASK Chance Saloon.
YouTube, press the button, become a member of the Anfield Wrap from the heart of the city of Liverpool. The best way to enjoy all your Liverpool-based videos, everything you need, every single day. It is the Anfield Wrap.